Okay, folks, I'm going to show you how to do a couple things today. I'm going to show you how to put a background in for your cityscape project so that you have like a sky in the background. And I'm also going to show you how to use a color gradient. So the first thing I want you to do is draw a big rectangle right here. I want it to be on top of everything else. If it's not on top of everything else, take the rectangle in the layers panel and pull it above. So let's say that it was like below like this, and you can see some stuff. Take the rectangle and pull it all the way above. Okay. And that way it like overlays everything. Okay. Now right now it's a gray color. I'm going to click the color palette, and instead of color fill, I'm going to show you how to do a linear gradient. So if you click linear gradient, what you'll notice is it goes from, it automatically goes from like white to black. All right. And it goes in a line as opposed to a radial gradient, which goes in a circle. Okay. Let's cover linear gradient first. All right. Let's say that I want the dark to be on top. Let's say it's the sunset where the dark is on top and the light is on the bottom here. And by the way, excuse me, I can pull this up to match whatever I want it, like wherever I want the white to start hitting and remain, I can pull that up. Now black and white aren't super exciting, so if I click on each one, I can change my color palette here. So here I can do pink if I want, and then if I click on the second one, whoops, let me go to linear gradient. If I click on the second, I can change this to maybe an orange color. Okay. Right now it's not really filling that. Yeah, so it's not really going quite evenly in from one to the other. So I can draw this slider up like that if I want. I can bring this down so that it looks like this. You could also just do different shades of the same color. So if I click here and I click back to this pink, I can make it darker by pulling this along like this, okay? This is a point that is sort of halfway, whoops, I just deleted it. So if I go back here, it just changed some of my colors, which is strange, but if I click here, I can go back and change it to something that I want. So let's say I want the dark on the bottom, okay? And this is the halfway point, so it's going to tell me like kind of how it's fading, and I can change that if I wanted to. All right, now let's say that you like this gradient, okay? That you like a black going into a purple. In fact, let me actually change it to an orangish color there. Okay, so let's say that this is like your sunset, okay? Right now it is the front color. You actually want it to be all the way at the very bottom. So you right click on it and you can say arrange and send to back. And that way, it's all the way on the back of everything else. Once you have done that, once you have it like exactly the way that you want it, you can lock it in place. And that means that you can't really make changes on it unless you unlock it, but it also means it like won't slide around, which is annoying when you're trying to select other things. Okay, so that's how you can do a color gradient. Now let's say that I want to do a linear gradient. Let me bring it back to the top, or a radial gradient. For here, I want to click radial gradient. And you'll see that the same thing applies, is just in a circle. You can change like how it is affected here. This too, by the way, you can change this color to something like, I think you can change that color. So your medium, and you know what? You can actually create other points by clicking and dragging off of that point. So you can change the colors. You should be able to change the colors in between. So, but this will bring the circle, and you can kind of change it so that it's not exactly a circle in the middle. There's another point here. So, and if you see, you can make other colors along the way if by adding another anchor point here. So you can click on that line here that adds another anchor point, and that just gives you another opportunity to drag that into and shift it into a different color. Okay, and if you lose it, you just click on the color and grab the gradient again. You see there's a little, if I zoom in and you can see the little plus sign, when you click on the line, it creates another point that will draw the color out. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. So you can sort of play with that. And then once you get it the way that you want it to be, you can play with the angle right here, which is really crazy. Again, you want to right click on it, arrange, send to back. It jumps all the way at the bottom and then you're gonna lock it in place. Okay, I'm not saying you wanna do this, but this is just a way that you can work with the gradients. You can also put a gradient on the windows, which is nice, like it's reflecting a sunset. So if you wanna do like a linear gradient here and you want it, let's change them all so that they're vertical. Oh, if they were all selected, you could do this all at once, but anyhow, you can just go ahead and change it. I want to click here. I want to change the colors that are in here. Okay, so if I clicked here, I could change the colors to maybe something like this to mimic like a sunset being reflected in windows, okay? So you can decide what you wanna do with your own project. Remember to, and I haven't been doing this, remember to save very frequently because you will lose it. So that's really, really important. And I can't believe I haven't done it because I always think about Google Docs and they don't make us save as often. All right, so that's how you do a color gradient and that is how you do a background color.